I love my people when I bond with them and meet them. And this is a woman up in Jersey. She's an herbalist. Her first name is Kim. Kim knows more about herbs and herbology than anyone I've ever met. She's a natural at it. She's an intuitive, and she's an empath. And she's just taken a very challenging course in all of these herbs and passed with flying colors. And she's actually now working in Montclair, for those of you who know where Montclair is, I think she said the name of it was the Blue Lotus. And what she shared with me this morning, once again, it propelled me to have the sensation that I can't get to people fast enough to help them no matter where they are. She's herself very shy and very reticent to share information if someone doesn't want the information. So she's kind of, just her nature is she'll pull back a little. And I understand that. I don't want to give you information if you don't want it. Because it appears that you're sort of wounded by our suggestions that could make you healthy and strong, even though it's you who have asked. So here's what Kim had to tell me today. She said, now this is a healing shop. For those of you who know, I would suspect it's somewhat like the Purple Pear was. They've got crystals, they've got Kuan Yin, they've got Buddha, they've got people who give talks. And so it's a natural healing zone. Kim said people come in there and they look kind of fearful. And they come up to her whispering, feeling that they're the only person on the planet who's asking kind of a forbidden question. And the question would be something like, how can I treat this normally, from a natural point of view? Because I've tried ABC to X, Y, and Z on a Western path, and it doesn't work, and it's made me sicker. And they're whispering this to her as if they're afraid perhaps someone's going to overhear the question and harm them for asking the question. But Kim is so sensitive. What she shared, which was heart-wrenching, is that everybody believes they're all alone on this wellness journey. And that makes me first sad, and then it makes me friggin' angry. And I'm going to stand up more clearly and probably more vocally. We're not alone. For heaven's sake, if I was directed to get on this path in the early 1970s, I damn well know what loneliness is. People thought I was out of my mind. And I was rejected and diminished every which way possible. And the more I learned and the more I studied and the more that I knew what I knew, the sense of loneliness and aloneness and fear of speaking out became more. And now people in my position are more afraid of speaking out than ever because of the countless number now of alternative healers that are no longer on the planet. Suspiciously, they managed to commit suicide. Okay, well, that's fine. So, yeah, have we been cautious? Yes. Have we been fearful? Yes. Are you alone? Absolutely not. Which is why, if I don't care how many times I got to get to New Jersey, and if there's 3 people and we meet in secret to hear, here's what you do. You take this flower instead of that. Put this crystal here. Use this energy to heal that. We're not alone. And guess what? Now that I understand, just by the use of my coming in contact with all of the learning curve for yet what I'm about to bring into New Jersey, I understand that there are many modalities that are here for us, and of course they've been hidden. And those of you who know me, I'm not a girl for secrets, probably to my disadvantage because it frightens you. But if we face the secret and go through it, my only goal is that we all can kind of go through this negative force field to get into a field of plenty and good health. Look around you. Every family is being desecrated and decimated by lack of good health. With what I have learned over these past 2 or 3 weeks, many of you know when I say the word Martha, I am referring to my sister, that I was crazed, that I was not able to find a way to help her with an alternative modality to stay in her body. And when I'm up in New Jersey, this will be her 7th anniversary. I know she's not left me, not even for a second. As a matter of fact, I have a sneaking suspicion she's the guiding force that got me to be able to learn this new device and bring it up to New Jersey. And I'm going to warn you, New Jersey, if you haven't figured this out yet, I'm not a scientist. I have a good mind, but I can't, it doesn't resonate. I'm too busy feeling that you're unhappy rather than to be able to articulate exactly the quantum calculations behind something. So I'm going to bring stuff up and go, you'll ask questions and I'll go, I don't know, let's look it up. But I have seen enough to know that it's our turn to heal. The rest of the world has been able to heal, and shame on this country for preventing tools that the rest of the world is using. That makes me sad. That really makes me sad. Well, and then angry. I'm not sure which comes up first. But this is part of what the eclipse has done for me. It's made me see all these things much more clearly. All right. If you have any questions, now is the hour. All right. Oh, here's another email that I got. Interestingly, both of the gals that connected with me this morning are by the name of Kim, which is so interesting. I'll have to really look carefully at what that name means to me. But anytime a Kim comes into my life, I'm a happy girl. They always have good information for me. You know, sometimes we have a name that's like, oh, no, they're not coming into my life. I've got one of those too. But a Kim, come on in. So here's the message from Kim, although I will give you a little background about Kim. I met Kim when she was in her early 30s, and I had just opened my first feng shui healing center in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and Kim came in with one little guy by the hand and another little guy on her back, and she had met me once or twice before. Kim is from Vietnam and does not have complete command over the English language, but I'll tell you what, she's got far better command over it than I would have of the language spoken in Vietnam. We have bonded because of my great love for her struggle and journey to be accepted in the United States and to be considered a valid human being. And if that doesn't grab you, nothing will. I don't know what it is we have against foreigners, but this person who's given this announcement has nothing against them because I see and feel their pain. So at any rate, this particular day she came in, she had just been told by the hospital in the town that she had liver cancer. And I went ballistic because there was no way on my clock that was going to happen. And I jumped up and sobbed with her, and we rocked, and these dear babies had no idea what was cooking, but we're rocking anyway. Well, make a long story short, I don't know what happened that day, but she came back about a month later, and oddly, there was no cancer of the liver. Who knows? Maybe it was a misdiagnosis. What do you know? But at any rate, here is what Kim had to say this morning. I am not sure why, but I would like to tell you that I have been listening to the Ganesh mantra. Now, Ganesh is the Hindu lord. He's the one that's got the elephant on his head, the trunk of the elephant on his head. And this great entity actually eliminates obstacles from the path, right? And by the woman grew up in Vietnam. Hindu was her religion, and she still goes to the Hindu temple, and these are her people, okay? But she's integrated because she wanted her children to have a Christian or Catholic upbringing. So, okay, on to the story. So she says, I'm not sure why, but I would like to tell you that I've been listening to the Ganesh mantra for a long while now, and it has helped me tremendously. Lord Ganesh is known to remove obstacles. Well, when Kim sends me something like this, she's sending it because she's feeling I need to remove some obstacles, and she's giving me a gift. So she goes on to say, every morning I would play it for 20 minutes, and that's 108 repetitions. Even in the language of feng shui, 108 has great meaning. And she says, I set my intention that projects are completed that day and that things are flowing nicely. It always worked. There was a time at work when things piled up uncontrollably, and I was so much under pressure to get the work done. Now, this is in parentheses. I worked for a Catholic priest, but I actually think she means she works for a Catholic priest who is a micromanager and believes everybody should have their heads bowed down 8 hours a day. 3 exclamation marks. I played the mantra, and out of nowhere, a volunteer asked if she could be my extra pair of hands. It was a true blessing, and things are cleared out of my desk now. One day, a woman at work told the priest that I'm listening to non-Catholic things while I'm on church property, and I was forbidden then to listen to it. There's a lot wrong here. Number one, busybody lady, excuse me, madam, mind your own business. And then, here's what this triggers in me, not only about Catholicism, about all these nonsensical religions right now, and they're all nonsensical because they're standing on false premises of lack of love, fear-based completely, and this is lack of tolerance. Excuse me? She can't play a mantra? Now, I know this gal. She's so dang humble that I doubt anybody could even hear it. So I can't imagine that this mantra was being piped through the entire place. But even if it was, which I would have said, she should have turned the volume up. Even if it was, what this lovely soul was doing was removing obstacles from the entire rectory or wherever she has to show up and work. So then she goes on to say, I now play the mantra at home and still things work out. If I listen to at work, I listen quietly, and things at home now work out. So she does, thank God, have a little spunk. And she simply closes with, this is so awesome. And then she goes on to say, I recently learned about the Gayatri mantra. I'm not familiar with that one. And that's spelled Gayatri. And during this session, she chants 27 repetitions, and it's asking for protection from harm from wherever you are. And she goes on to say it improves your speech, which, of course, I just love her. And it dispels darkness and ignorance. And there's a sound, apparently, that has a gong that gives deep relaxation. and a releasing from the